Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, I'd like to discuss a campaign video which features Kamala Harris and Tim Walz essentially just having a chat. But it was so well worked, so brilliant. I think it's a great way to engage a lot of people who are not up for the hard politics, which are the people you need to get through, those swing voters who are going to vote, but, the politics, they don't like the politics when it comes time for the ballots to open. And I think Labour in this country, I think the Labour Party should be looking at this as something they could use to reach those same sorts of voters. Because politics is very off-putting for a lot of people at the best of times. But in both the UK and the US, we've got this toxic tribalism that I can well understand most people, even most voters, wanting to not pay attention to until it's election time. And even then, only as much as needs to avoid ending up with depression. And I've been watching a few videos on the Harris-Walz campaign recently. I have to say, the more I see of Walz, the more I think he's a brilliant pick for running mate on a personal level. He's basically the anti-Trump, isn't he? He's good-humoured, seems very kind, shows a great deal of empathy towards others. He's very sharp as well. He's already come out with some killer lines since being announced as Harris's running mate. And the combination of Harris and Walz is working out really well. At least it seems to, from a distance, across an entire ocean. And nowhere for me was this better exemplified, in terms of what I've seen, than in a video they produced together earlier this week. Really well worked out campaign video. It comes across as a cosy little chat.
Guy tacos and
what is that, like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
Pretty much ground beef and cheese.
That's okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No.
Oh.
Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota,
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
I'm trying to expand my food knowledge.
You know what? We've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So...
I was hoping
you,
maybe we wouldn't have to.
I called you, Tim.
Yes.
You didn't answer, Tim.
I know.
What happened?
The most important call of my life. It popped up, and we didn't recognize the caller ID, and it went to voicemail.
Hi, this is Tim. I'm not able to answer.
There you go.
It's like it reminded me, for anyone who's interested in cricket, the Test match special chat that Jonathan Agnew does at lunch. But it was woven into this chat where there were tales of achievement, the achievement of Walz as an American football coach, Harris as a lawyer. Then they tied in the American Constitution with the civil rights movement, the fight for justice more generally. It's a really well worked out piece that you could just watch. In fact, I did. I sat and watched the entire thing in one go. It was sort of like, the easy listening version of a political campaign piece, because the politics wasn't being rammed down your throat. It was just very watchable. It was as if they just sat down and talked for 10 minutes. But that's not what happened. There were so many messages in there about their achievements, about getting people to think about what America really stands for, about the positive aspects of American culture. And in this nearly 10-minute video between the two, not a single mention of Trump or his campaign or even his party. They talked for 10 minutes essentially about what their campaign represented, but in a very nuanced way. You didn't watch it. You could easily just not watch it as a political piece. It's two politicians, but they're just talking. They're just chatting about their own connections with American culture. It was so nuanced. And they didn't mention their opponents once. It's a very powerful subtext, really. It's a way of saying what we're standing for is strong enough to stand on its own 2 feet. It's a statement that they're not pitching themselves as just being better than the alternative, in this case, the orange one, but that they'd be a good bet against any Republican nominee. It was a very interesting counterpoint to what I would say, not just the Trump campaign, because you couldn't imagine Trump doing anything like this. Can you imagine Trump and Vance trying to come across as human? You can't imagine Trump talking for 10 minutes about anything in his campaign without attacking his opponents. In fact, Republican strategists are getting him to try and focus on the economy. That is where they could actually hurt the Democrats, on the economy. And Trump, even in his latest little speech, said, they want me to talk to you about the economy because it's really important, but I'm not sure it is. And then he banged on about his usual talking points. But that's in America. I would say this video was very, very different to anything we saw. The approach to this video was very different to anything we saw in our own general election campaign, the one we just had in this country. It was the sort of thing I was desperate for Starmer to do ahead of the election. You know, I'd said months before the election was even called. You know, there were a couple of attempts at something similar, I guess. There was like the party political with Gary Neville. It didn't, you know, I mean, I didn't think it worked brilliantly. It was an attempt at it. Nothing works as well as this. It's like Labour have this control freakery that doesn't allow them to loosen the grip even a little. And yet, you wouldn't have to for a video like this. This video with Harris-Walz, it will have been worked out in advance. They didn't just tell them to sit down and chat about stuff for 10 minutes. They worked out their talking points. They had complete control over the process. It was all edited. They'd have seen it before it went out anywhere. But it came out so beautifully. It came out so naturally. Labour should be looking at this video and seeing the huge potential. Not organised by their PR clowns. Get some people who know how to engage in positive messaging and just do things like this. Very powerful. There was another video that just centred on Tim Walz himself that I'd seen beforehand. And I thought that was brilliant before I saw this latest one. I wouldn't suggest Starmer do something like that. The other video was playing to Walz's strengths. I actually do think he comes across as very charismatic, a very affable guy in a way that Starmer wouldn't pull off in the same setting. You have to be who you are. But I can totally see Starmer making the Walz-Harris video format work. I mean, he's sort of done it in the past. You know, there was a full disclosure with James O'Brien. That was actually quite good. The problem was it was a one-off and the interview format is limiting. And it's a format, in the case of our government, it doesn't need to be restricted to those just at the top. I would copy this format. Like if you were to copy this format exactly, you would go, oh, you'd get Starmer and Rayner, wouldn't you? Starmer and Rayner, that's the same thing. No, I'd say, no. I'd say this is the sort of thing you could do with all senior cabinet ministers, as well as some other senior members of the Labour Party. Literally pair them off with those with a bit of a contrast, but personal chemistry. That's what you want. And get them to do videos like this. Weirdly, I was scrolling through the news. You know what I came across? It's almost like the universe is sending messages. It was a culture piece which talks about a new TV. I don't watch TV, but I saw this thing about a TV show with Dame Judi Dench and Jay Blades, real life friends apparently, who are doing something similar, but they're doing it purely for entertainment purposes. It's not a political campaign. They're just going to share each other's past lives and stuff like that and talk about it, nice cozy chat type of thing. And it's for entertainment. And if a format can work for pure entertainment purposes, you know what that means? It means it's engaging. As long as you get the execution right, of course. Now, right now, the public don't really know much about the people running our government departments. Couldn't even name most of them. And what they do know mostly comes from a hostile media. This is a golden opportunity. Labour could use this format to put out videos of cabinet ministers and other senior members of the party just pairing up and having conversations about culture. That, at the face of it, was all Harris and Walz were doing. They were talking about their relationship with American culture. That was it. But there were a few sneaky little political messages subtly woven in. It was very subtly. It will work brilliantly. Wouldn't be difficult to do. Labour would have complete control over the finished product. It's not like you're doing it with another agency and it's like, oh, once it's been recorded, oh, if you say something stupid, you've knackered it. No, it's all in-house. It's just something, it's so simple and would be easy engagement for them. Every week they could put out one of these videos on social media, on their YouTube channel, other social media, just a pair of senior Labour figures talking about a shared interest in some aspect of our culture, and then just a few little nods to what they're trying to do in government that's related. Nothing overtly political, just a few little nods thrown in. But mostly just an engaging, good-humoured chat of the sort people have all the time at home. Like, you know, like a political big brother. It amazed me. When that programme first started, I couldn't believe it. I thought to myself, you've got people bored, sat at home, watching a television programme of other people being bored, sat at a different home, just chatting to each other. That's mad. This would be a great way to raise the public profile of cabinet ministers and other MPs in a way that bypasses the mainstream media filter, gets straight to the public. And as I keep saying, the trick with social media is engagement first, message second. Labour could use this sort of content, which is easy to prepare, doesn't take much time. A lot of the preparation would be done by like Labour staff, just get ones who know what they're doing. The actual politicians themselves, you don't need much from them. They just need to do it. You know, a 10-minute, what comes out as a 10-minute video might just take an hour of their time. You know, so you put that out there and it will drive traffic to their social media platforms because it's engaging and it'll build up followers. And then when they need to get the important messages out there, they've already got the followers. It's so simple. It's so brilliant. Will Labour see that they could get a great deal from this? But there we are. Those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for further content and click the like button. You could also sign up for memberships if you'd like to support the channel further. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.